Good morning and blessings. I'm Pastor Vaughn and welcome to the home edition of Harvest News for Sunday, March 22nd. So this is new for pretty much all of us. I think we're all trying to figure out the best way to do things right now when we're following the guidance of the governor of Wisconsin, the CDC, and also from our district superintendent to avoid groups of 10 or more. We're all experiencing significant disruptions to our lives, but ready or not, we have the opportunity to do church, to be the church in a way that perhaps we've never considered before. Pastor Kent has sent out an email about a way we can bless our community during this time by sending cards to a care facility in DeForest. Check your email or contact Pastor Kent if you're interested in helping. You may have heard the expression that church isn't a building, it's the people, and that's our reality right now. At some point, we will be able to meet again in our building, and hopefully that day comes very soon. But until then, let's not allow physical distance to become personal distance. We can stay in touch by phone, text, email, and social media. We can pray with each other and for each other even if we are not in the same room. We can stay connected even if we can't shake hands. We are supposed to wash our hands frequently, but let's also wash ourselves frequently in grace and peace. That is, let's do our best to refrain from anger, from the need to blame people or groups for the situation. As it says in James 1:19, be quick to listen, slow to speak, and slow to anger. And just like we're supposed to avoid groups of 10 or more, let's avoid rumors. They spread rapidly and infect us with alarm and distrust. And the longer we're exposed, the more resistant we become to accurate information. A great big thank you goes out to the Wisconsin and Northern Michigan District of the Assemblies of God for setting up our online giving platform. You should have received a text and email with the link to that platform last week. You can also get to that platform by clicking on the giving tile on our church website. As you can see here, there's no way on this platform to indicate that you are giving to Kingdom Builders or BGMC. So send me an email with that information. You can also mail your tithes and offerings to the church at 5008 Lindy Lane, Suite 300 in DeForest, 53532. But please don't mail cash or change. Speaking of change, right now we can't give Buddy Barrel our change. But March Missions Madness has not been canceled, and we are still collecting money for the Boys and Girls Missionary Challenge to reach people around the world with the love of Jesus.
In the shadow of a mountain of garbage in the Philippines lives 7-year-old Sherry. She isn't in school. Instead, she scavenges through the soggy garbage pile looking for recyclables to sell. Or she watches her little sister, or spends back-breaking hours at her mother's side washing other people's clothes by hand.
On many mornings, Sherry is weak and hungry because I can't always feed her. This breaks my heart.
Many poor families, like Sherry's, have no place to settle other than in places like this. Since moving here, Sherry has watched her friends get up in the morning, put on their uniforms, and head off to school. And at lunchtime, they have a meal.
She would just look at kids and think that, when can I go to school? When can I play with those kids? Because she would just stay in their home and look after her sisters.
If you are able to support Buddy Barrel right now, please do. Harvest Church continues to search for a new senior pastor, but next week Dean Anderson will come on board as interim pastor.
Hi, my name is Dean Anderson. Along with my wife Lita, to whom I've been married for 49 years, we've had the privilege of serving in pastoral roles for 46 years. The last 30 of those years, I served the church family at Christian Life Fellowship in Port Edwards, which is in the Wisconsin Rapids area. I've been asked to come alongside the church family there at Harvest Church in DeForest on an interim basis as you go through the process of selecting your next pastor to lead your church family. I'm well aware that this can be a challenging time for any church, but I also believe that it can be an exciting time as you evaluate who you are as a church family and what it is that you need in a leader at this particular juncture in your church life. And hopefully I will be able to add a little bit of insight along that journey. Certainly the crisis time that we are facing right now in our country and in our world is adding to the challenge that every church family is facing right now. These are difficult times, there's no question about that. But it is in these kinds of times that the church is called to rise up and be the church that God has called us to be, that He has equipped us to be. Even when we cannot meet together as we normally would, or as we are accustomed to. I look forward to the time when I will be able to meet all of you face to face, but until that is possible, I will attempt to meet with your leadership team there at Harvest Church, and if it's possible to teach an old dog like this some new technical tricks, we will plan to make available online a message each week from God's Word, a message of hope, a message to encourage, to equip and challenge us to be the image of Christ to the world around us that is broken and anxious and hurting. I'm reminded of Jesus' words in the Gospel of John, chapter 16, verse 33. He said, "In this world you will have trouble." He didn't beat around the bush. He said, you will have trouble. But he didn't stop there, thankfully. He said, in this world you will have trouble, but take heart. I have overcome the world. Let's stand on that promise. The days ahead will be challenging for all of us, for sure. But we do not walk alone, nor do we need to live in fear. Faith is always the antidote to fear. Christ has overcome the world, and we are His children. I know that your leaders will do their very best to keep you abreast of what is happening in church life, what will be available to you, and when it is that we will be able to resume meeting together. In the meantime, I would just encourage you to listen each week to the services. I'll put that in quote, that will be offered online, and be in prayer daily for our country and for our world. Thank you for allowing me to introduce myself to you today, and I truly do look forward to the time when we will be able to meet all of you face to face. Thank you.
We are doing our best to keep you informed about everything going on as it relates to Harvest Church. Please keep us informed about what's going on with you. And that's all for this week's edition of Harvest News. From the Reaching, Teaching, Caring, and Sharing News Desk, this is Pastor Vaughn inviting you to join us on the journey to becoming the church Jesus wants us to be. The message is next.